Hi, this is Leanne once again from Global Media Networks, coming up with business news for today. Today being a Monday, we will see what we have in store for us would be the stock market is likely to step up the migration to delivery versus payment system in a more robust risk management regime following the fiasco triggered by the default of National Savings Bank. The delivery versus payment, as well as a more robust system management system, came up for discussion at a joint meeting between the Securities and Exchange Commission, the Colombo Stock Exchange, and the Colombo Brokers Association officials on Friday, the 18th of May 2012. Then we have the Securities and Exchange Commission confirmed on the 18th of May 2012 that it has approved the transfer of the finance company shares from NSB back to the sellers, resolving the controversial transaction that took place on the 27th of April and has remained in a limbo since. NSB Working Director Tilak Abhigunawardena has sent his resignation letter to the Finance Ministry, allegedly over his displeasure on the savings giant contentious investment in the finance company PLC, which was reversed last week. Then we have Shamanics PLC on Friday announced that Anura Mahalagama has been appointed the Joint Managing Director with effect the 18th of May. He was previously Chief Operating Officer, a post which was appointed in January 2010. Then we have Sri Lanka's bonds yields edged lower as more money as earlier increases in rates drew more money into the market, but short-term rates fell below the week's auction prices according to the dealers. Moving on to more news, we have we have the seaplane aerodrome opens today. Now today it would be a very important day for the Sri Lankan aviation sector when the country's first seaplane aerodrome is commissioned at the Dandugama Oya in Jayala. The investment for the project was undertaken by the Ministry of Economic and Development, while the construction was carried out by the Western Province Road Development Authority. The facility would have three docking bays, passenger terminal, long timer pier, and large parking area, even to accommodate large tourist buses. Now we also have a concrete road too that has been laid down, and passenger waiting rooms that have been built to international standards. The aerodrome would open to both Sri Lankan air taxis and other private operators, and it has a facility to accommodate both seaplanes and floatplanes. Now, the Ministry of Economic Development Basil Rajapaksa and Ministry of Aviation Priyanka Karnaratna will open this facility today. We also have Gulf-based hotel management company that would invest 2 billion rupees to refurbish and upgrade the remaining properties by the end of next year. The group would also look at building a new hotel in Kandy with the partnership of a foreign investor. Now it is said that the Gulf-based Group Hotel is the only hotel chain in Sri Lanka to cater to the domestic travelers. And it is they who supported the group mainly due to many difficult times. Okay, now we see that the group will also look at refurbishing Queen's Hotel, which is one of the oldest hotels in the country. However, like to carefully study the refurbishment of this heritage property, since they have to retain the Kandyan architecture and the traditional values of the hotel. So we see that the hotel also won a PATA Regional Award and the Best Business Hotel Award from a UK-based company, and also bagged several other accolades, including the presidential awards. That would be Golf's Hotel Group. Golf's Group to invest 2 billion rupees and plans to build a new hotel in Kandy. We also have more news, and that would be Yasin's Computerized Graphics, one of the largest suppliers of labor to the apparel industry, has invested over 200 million rupees to diversify to the cosmetics segment. Now we have it said that like with the Sri Lankan living standards on the increase and people looking for better things, that they have found out with a very extensive market study that there is high demand for high quality cosmetic products in Sri Lanka. And this would be the reason that they tied up with the Turkey cosmetic manufacturer Pharmacy to launch their product range in Sri Lanka. Now we said that Pharmacy product range includes over 2,000 makings. Making the company one of the biggest cosmetic companies in the world, and products are exported to more than 116 countries. Now we see that one of the biggest advantages that it would be cost effective, and they would also be re-exported to India, exploiting the FTA. And we see the factory covers an area of 40,000 square meters and has over 250 employees. Today, over 350 million people from 118 countries use Pharmacy products. And this factory that is opened in Sri Lanka would be the first factory that has ever been opened in the overseas market for them. And then we also have it as an IIFL report that was received this morning. And just glancing through the front page of the IIFL report, we have a few corporate announcements, corporate results, and those would be that profits at Haley's Group rose 84% to 178 million rupees in the fourth quarter financial year of 2012 amid foreign exchange losses. Then we have profits at Shemanex, which is mainly into chemicals, fell 84% to 5.9 million Sri Lankan rupees, while export revenues also slipped for them. The Singer Sri Lanka, a top consumer durables retailer's sales was strong despite currency depreciation in the first quarter of 2012, as harvests were good in rural areas, though television sales fell. Now profits grew 35% to 337 million Sri Lankan rupees, and the firm reported EPS of 2.70 for the first quarter of 2012. Then we have HDFC's bank. Profits in the first quarter of 2012 rose 79% to 125 million Sri Lankan rupees, held by higher interest income. Then we have Lanka Hospitals Corporation that will set up a diagnostic library network with India's Fortis Healthcare, in which it will invest 831 million Sri Lankan rupees over the next 2 years. And looking at a few more economic and a general front page of the IIFL report, we have Sri Lanka, one of the world's biggest exporters of black tea, shipped less brew during the first quarter of this year, but a weak rupee helped maintain export revenues. And where Saudi Arabia, the Arab world's largest economy, wants a joint council to boost trade ties with Sri Lanka, the Ministry of Industry and Commerce announced. The Sri Lankan rupee will appreciate significantly, and the central bank is ready to intervene to prevent unnecessary movement in the currency, the governor stated. The Reserve Bank of India will offer swap arrangement of $2 billion both in foreign currency and Indian rupee to member countries of the South Asian Association of Regional Cooperation, ASAC. And we also have Colombo Dockyard result. Now, the Colombo dockyard, the first quarter of 2012, recording a net profit declined by 2.9% year-on-year to 453.4 million rupees, excluding an unrealized foreign exchange gain of 325 million Sri Lankan rupees. Now, despite lower revenue from the high-margin ship repair business, DOC's first quarter of 2012 revenue increased by 14% year-on-year to 3.7 billion, underpinned by strong revenue growth in the shipbuilding business and a Sri Lanka rupee depreciation. Now, further, the company's expertise in handling multiple types of vessels, particularly offshore supporting vessels, would enable it to withstand the pressures arising from the gloomy outlook of the shipping industry. Now, DOC has secured shipbuilding contracts that will enable the company to fully operate its capacity in 2012 and 2013. The company is cash rich. We expect net profit to remain broadly flat in the year 2012 with an ROE of 18%. Now we retain ADD with a revised target of 225 Sri Lankan rupees to reflect the rise in the cost of capital. Now with that, I would like to round up the news for today. Thank you very much for listening and see you again tomorrow.